Hi everyone, Greg Meskel here. Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Counterattack right here on Overnight, bringing you a look back at the week in water polo. The National League comes to a close, week 4 action in the books with the championship about a month away. Women's college season jumps in to the extra special conference slate. A couple of big matchups from this past weekend to look at. We'll talk with James Graham, the head coach at the University of the Pacific, leading the men's and women's water polo programs, the Pacific Cup, an off-season men's college water polo initiative they've started there in Stockton is coming up in just a couple of weeks. And of course, we'll look ahead to the big events on the way, including the girls' ODP National Championships this weekend in Salt Lake City. But let's get it started. National League Week 4 action. Out to the pool we go. LAAC Riverside scoreless early in this one until Wyatt Bugby is going to do the job here for Riverside, able to hit. Riverside up 2-0 now. LAAC getting on the board, courtesy of Bryce Horman, able to hit there. And then more Bryce Horman, down 3-1, make it 3-2, able to drill from the outside. 3-3 now as we move things along here. After the kick out, Touring Stanley. How about that shot? Bar down, a beauty. We go the other way now. Big day for this guy, the left-hander, Miles O'Brien Shritty. He's going to convert here to level the score 4-6-5 now, and O'Brien Shritty does the job again. We go the other way, tie it 6-6. Riverside's going to activate their 2-meter game. Nice turn here from Rafael Martinez in close, able to convert. Good back and forth battle. It's that O'Brien Shritty guy again, able to convert, keeping things close as the third winds to a close. Now in the fourth, a battle in front. Put it home, Lotero able to hit. Now LA on the counter here. LAAC coming all the way back. Mitchell Kitely going to move in, does not miss from there. Gives his squad the 10-9 lead. 32 seconds left. Riverside needs a goal. It's the man who started it. Bugby does the job, tying things from the outside. That is precision accuracy onto a shootout. First two shooters hit. O'Brien Shritty had been good all day, but William Whitstone says no. And it comes down to this. Alex Rigetti for the dub, you know it. Riverside able to pull off the win in a shootout. What a thriller against LAAC. Keep it moving now. Long Beach, Anteater. Alex Lopez scores here for Anteater. Get us started 2-1. 2-2 now. Jason O'Donnell going to be the beneficiary here for Long Beach. He'll make it 3-2 first quarter action. O'Donnell able to hit. How about this redirect here? Look at inside one time. That's Alec Johnson. Pretty stuff there for Long Beach. And now we'll get out on the counter. Some nice passing here. It's Keegan McGann cashing in on the break there. Make it 6-5. Another good play. Time winding down on the shot clock. Keeper is there, but Ben Youngblood sticks with it. Good looks, Youngblood. 7-6, late third quarter now. As you get a second look here, right place, right time, pays to follow the shot. Late third, Anteater trailing 12-8. Jay Hubbard will get one back on the near side bounce. Early fourth now. Ashwin Keshvara up on his legs. Will fire here for Long Beach, 14-10. More Anteater, though. Can they make one more push? Ethan Spoon posted up in front. Does not miss from there. 14-11 the score. Now 15-12. Anteater making a major rally here as Maddox McEwen makes it 15-13. And then right after this, Ethan Spoon sticking with the play. 15-14 halfway through the fourth. Later, a one-goal game, but Long Beach turns to one of their stars, Gabby Acosta, your eventual game winner, makes it 17-15, and they take it 17-16. Pipeline Olympic Club, Pipeline up 1-0. Bodie Brinkema will make it 2-0 on the strike. Watch the ball control here from the Calbear, Alex Oprea, waving that thing around. Complete control of the ball. 3-0. O Club down 5-1, looking to answer. How fast is this? Turner to Mulcahy to Stapleton, blink, and you miss it. Then more of the same. JT dropping dimes to Mulcahy here on the break. Make it 6-3. Olympic Club trying to come back in this one. Fast answer now from Pipeline. Connor Ohl will be the man from the outside. Loads up the cannon and hits. Ohl able to convert 7-3. Stapleton now showing off his range. We saw him inside. Now we'll see him outside. He makes it 7-4. Olympic Club, if you want a guy to steal and counter, Johnny Hooper is your man. Hooper takes it away. He'll go ahead to Marcus Longton. That's Bears and Trojans working together. Longton able to hit. How about Ryder Dodd? He's been playing with Mission most of the season. Caps up here for Pipeline. They're happy to have him. The Olympic bronze medalist buries it from the outside. More Oprea again, showing off his wizardry with this ball control, faking it around and firing. And then let's close it out with some defense here as Olympic Club turned back by Chelsea as they pick up the 17-11 victory. Does the Pipeline team big win there for the Olympic Club? That's a look at some of the big results from week 4 of the National League. Don't forget the championship coming up quickly, end of April, Mount San Antonio College. 2 courses of action. Going to be an awesome event there out at Mount SAC. Semifinals Saturday evening, finals on Sunday, of course, all live streaming right here on Overnight. We were out at week 4 on the pool decks, checked in with a couple of guys that are competing in the National League. Here are their thoughts.
Yeah, it's been going really well so far. A lot of really high-quality games. This is only the second weekend that Oak Club's participating in. Obviously, with travel, it's a little hard for us, but it's been really, really high-level water polo across the board. You've seen competitive games throughout, and the league's been, better than definitely the past few years, but maybe better than ever.
I think it's a lot of guys sacrificing their time and just still having passion for the sport. And it's nice to have a full crew of guys who come out and still happy to be around the sport. So I think it's all about the love for the game.
Love to hear the excitement and energy these guys have for the National League. And again, all roads leading to Walnut, California, Mount San Antonio College there for the National League Championship. Should be a great event. Around that same time, it's also College Conference Championship time, which means right now we're in the thick of conference play. A couple of big matches this past weekend right here on Overnight. First up, I got the chance to be in Berkeley for Cal and USC, a top 5 meeting. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here from the Legends Aquatic Center in Berkeley.
Who's checked in. Perimeter look on the skip. Swadling. She's got 2. What a shot. Plotz giving to McIninch, cross cage. Bangs it off the post. A lot of open water there going inside, and Ward takes down that backhand rip. She's been up to the task. Netherton steps up and drills it. Trojans go in front. 4-3, Morgan Netherton with time winding down. Now sitting in here at number 2 as Fonseca denies the redirect. McGee on the move, puts on the brakes and didn't have enough on that one. Game clock to 40. Entry in, step, turn, fire, score it for Alma Jacobi. Netherton left all alone, that's dangerous. Tipped, oh, Fonseca does just enough. Snyder the foul, Osmus the score, and it's an 8-4 lead for USC. And she has fouled out from this one, just had the penalty foul and now the exclusion, and then add another for Morgan Netherton. Action was coming and tried to get through. Meanwhile, McGee bangs it off the back of the cage. Stryker brings it back to Netherton. She's got 3 already. Moving in, make it 4. Swadling now across the way, tries to go cross cage, it's Ward. A fight for the ball and a penalty. The foul, Flynn the score. And Cal brings it back to 4 at 10-6. This now scoots in. Netherton, the star, she's got more. And Nina Flynn has another from 5 meters. And time expires in this one in Berkeley. Give the win to USC 13-9.
What a big win there for USC. Number 2 coming back to defeat number 5 on the road. Might see those 2 again in the postseason. Now across the bay, down on the farm, Stanford, San Jose State. Number 1 hosting number 18. Cardinal up 2-0. Rose Jensen called on here for San Jose State. She'll make it 2-1. Skip ahead now. Jenna Flynn, the Olympian for Team USA. Such a dangerous shooter. Rockets that one in to make it 4-1. Stanford adding now. Maggie Hawkins able to convert. And then how about the big transfer from Arizona State, the Olympian for France, Juliette Deloun on the skip there. 6th and 7th goals to make it 7-1. Move ahead now. Here's a powerful backhand from Ella Woodhead, also a member of Team USA. Make it 10-1. San Jose State trying to work their way back in. Isabella Adams finds Darcy Spark. She's often been the spark on offense for the Spartans. 2nd goal of the day as we go to the 3rd. Jewel Romer now will spot Jenna Flynn. She strikes for the Cardinals 13th. And then Janina Sorio responding for San Jose State, 13-3. Amber Novacek will get the 5-meter try, does not miss from there. Stanford in front, 15-3. Moving along now, San Jose State, Tatiana Raffin makes a stop before we move to the fourth. Spark back to work with the Spartans' fourth goal of the game. They trail now 15-4, but Stanford would go on a tear. They'd rip through 5 more goals in this one to come out on top 20-4. Here's a look at their offensive prowess. This team is going to be a problem come the postseason for a lot of squads. They are stacked with veterans and have a whole host of experienced athletes for Coach John Tanner. So watch out come the postseason in the MPSF and beyond for the top-ranked Cardinal as they go to pick up the win in convincing fashion over San Jose State. And now let's take a look around the country. Some other key scores coming in the world of women's college water polo, conference schedules unfolding, not just the MPSF, but the GCC, and of course the Big West, the MAC, so many, the CWPA, all in preparation for their conference tourneys. Excited to see who will make it to the finale in Indianapolis this May. And now time for our big conversation this week on the counterattack. We welcome in the head coach of University of the Pacific men's and women's water polo, James Graham. James, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Appreciate you having me on.
James, I know you're a busy guy, a lot going on. Lead off with the Pacific Cup. This is a pretty cool event that you all started 2 years ago, really trying to bring some glamour, for lack of a better term, to kind of the men's off season. I know you recently had the draw. The event's coming up here pretty quickly. Can you just start first? What was the genesis of this event and what made you want to put something like this together?
Yeah, look, in the off season, there's these games that happen, and there's just really nothing to follow in men's water polo. All of the kind of scrimmages and the play dates that we've typically used are just like a bunch of kind of common trainings almost, or scrimmages that happen underneath the cover of darkness. It seems like there's no fans, there's no publicity, there's nothing to follow. So for everybody out there in the world that loves men's collegiate water polo, the spring's empty, right? And there's no place to follow anything. So we decided this idea, like, what if we could make an elite out of season men's water polo tournament, invite the champions of the various conferences across the country to come to Pacific and put on a first class event. And this isn't just about like water polo games. This is about enjoying the sport, making something that people want to come to, be a part of, not just watch some games, but really take part in an event. So we try to do a whole bunch of things around the entertainment and making this at the next level.
It feels a little bit like you took a page out of like spring football and college football, trying to make like an off-season event have a little energy to it. Usually spring football, I know there's been talk of Coach Prime trying to get like an actual scrimmage or a team to go up against, but it's usually an inter-squad scrimmage. It's obviously much different. You're bringing together other teams, but did you kind of adapt anything from other sports that you saw?
Like obviously when it comes to these other sports, I think they just do such a great job at putting together something where when you go to this place, you have a lot of ways of taking part in it. You go to a basketball game, you go to a football game, there's the tailgates, there's the stuff that happens at halftime, there are the events, there's the scoreboard, all of this entertainment that goes on inside of these kind of elite competitions that we want to bring to water polo, that we feel like typically in water polo, you just don't get that experience often or ever. Right. And so how do we do that? How do we do something different? So, we got tailgates happening out there. We got beer garden. We got DJs. We're doing prizes for a contest, whether it's like, can you put on a Frozen t-shirt? How fast can you put on a Frozen t-shirt? Or, guess the 80s tune, or, guess the food out of the food truck, right? With blindfolded, all kinds of different little things that we do and then we have giveaways at the door. We're like, we got Pacific Cup maracas this year, right? So to try to make it that kind of an exciting event. And so just all these little things where we can really have like a fun atmosphere for fans, for families, for the teams, and make it exciting where we're playing to a championship and we're playing for something. Last year, one of the cool things is you see these games, And when people are scoring and they're, and the game's getting close at the end, the teams are going nuts. They're standing up, they're cheering. I mean, it's like it's in season. They're playing for something. You could feel the energy. It matters, and you just never get that in the off season. So we've tried to take some things from some other sports, but also make it uniquely ours as well.
Think back to last year or to even other spring games. For those that maybe haven't been as dialed in on off-season water polo, how much will what someone sees at the Pacific Cup resemble what we might see in the fall when it comes to your team? And I know you can't speak for other teams, but traditionally, is it a pretty good predictor, not of success, but what a team might look like come the fall?
Well, to be honest, in the off season, you're graduating a bunch of players, right? And so most of the time, the teams are, those seniors aren't going to travel and play at the Pacific Cup. So you're really talking about kind of the bones of the returning crew. Plus, each program is going to add a certain number of freshmen in, and that's different for everybody. How many of those freshmen are going to impact the roster or transfers? So, what I would say is it's a good predictor to a level, but it's really kind of this returning atmosphere, an opportunity to compete at an elite level and to see what the guys you have right now can do for the future while you're prepping to bring in some new guys.
You mentioned getting the conference champions to attend. There's also a USA water polo pipeline team that'll take part. You've been involved in pipeline activities as well. How beneficial is it for that group to go up against some elite college competition?
Yeah, last year, we had the USA pipeline as a part of our program. They brought the 18Us and the people that were involved in that part of the pipeline. This year, it's the 20 and unders, right? And they got a lot of great competition. I know the coaches were really excited about how it helped them prepare. And being a part of the junior national team staff in 2023, I know that how important it was to have this spring to help prepare for us to when we went to Junior Worlds and were able to win the bronze. So I know that Coach Coker feels the same way about that right now, and they're going to get a really high level experience against players at that same age they're going to be competing against. So it's nice to have this tournament where we can showcase Team USA and the people that are currently in the pipeline for those age groups while competing at a high level against these elite college teams. And so it's just a great chance to showcase both the collegiate level and USA water polo at the same time.
And we're also in the middle of women's season. You just didn't have enough on your plate, right? You had to add another event here. How do you balance all of this and looking ahead to next season and current season Pacific Cup? There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Just got back from Hawaii. We got the Pacific Cup coming up. We got a big fundraiser coming up a few weeks after that. We got some important women's water polo games coming. So, look, the one thing that we're really lucky about, and one of the reasons why I think the Pacific Cup is so unique, is because our athletic department, just in our university as a whole, supports water polo on the highest level. It's one of the reasons why I think that we have the nickname Water Polo U is because of what the university does and how much they put behind it. I mean, the fact that we're streaming all these games on ESPN Plus and we're putting all of the staff from the athletic department behind this event, we couldn't run, the men's season and women's season at the same time and put on, these kinds of events for the men's team while taking the women to Hawaii, while putting on a fundraiser and all this without the athletic department and the university behind us and doing all the things that they do. And then I also got a staff that just has no quit. So they grind and they go after it. And I'm really lucky to have them. And we love water polo. So, I always say there's kind of three levels. You either like it or you love it or you're obsessed. We're at that obsessed level. So, we're just putting in 7 days a week and trying to make a great product and trying to make something that everybody enjoys.
I think that was the branding ethos for Cold Stone Creamery as well. It was like it, love it, gotta have it maybe. So that's what you've done with water polo here in the pool as opposed to ice cream. You are spot on though about the energy. I mean, having been at your pool for NCAAs and conference championships, it just gets taken to another level and really kind of sets the bar for what college water polo can be in a lot of respects. So very, very cool stuff. They're looking forward to seeing the next Pacific Cup. What's the best way for people to follow information, get the schedule, that sort of thing? Is there a good website for them to head to?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two main ways. You can follow us on social media on our Instagram. Also, at the same time, you can go to our men's water polo website, pacifictigers.com, and then go to men's water polo. And in there, under kind of like just the more category, after you look at the schedule, stats, roster, right? There's a link to the Pacific Cup tournament page. So you can go there. That's where you can buy tickets. You can watch the blind draw. You can get all the information you need about the event. And so pretty exciting. I mean, again, we got some great teams coming. Cal, Stanford, UCLA, the junior pipeline, Cal Baptist, San Jose State, Pepperdine, and us. So it should be a fantastic elite tournament.
Let's look back now to last season. You had the opportunity to host the conference tourney at your place and ended up running into a really, really good California Baptist team. And then I know we had talked, there was hope, maybe not large. It didn't go your way. But as you reflect back on that tourney, what do you take from that? What does your group learn from that? I know you'll be a different looking team as you move towards the fall, but how do you bounce back from what was obviously a pretty emotional loss there in your place?
Yeah, I mean, it's sport, right? It's why we play the games. It's what makes everything exciting. Some days it goes in your favor, some days it doesn't. Congratulations to Cal Baptist; they had a great game that day. Part of it is just kind of trying to go back and analyze how the day went and what happened. I mean, the reality is the regular season was amazing. I mean, we went 18-1. We put ourselves in a great position. We were number 2 in RPI, number 3 in strength of schedule. We were in a fantastic place to go to NC2As and I think really do some damage. And then we ran up against a Cal Baptist team that was playing really well, and at the same time we had an outlier game. And, so that's unfortunate. Like, we went back to the data, we looked at everything, being an analytics guy and being big part of our program. And we compared how we performed in the Cal Baptist game compared to how we played them earlier in conference play when we had won, I think, by 5. And in all reality, the games operated almost identically, except for the fact that we shot 10% below our worst shooting percentage of the season. So it was like a really difficult day for us at the office, just putting balls on cage. But that's the way it goes. So one of the things that we talk about here is, there's a great poem, Man in the Arena. And what it's really about is being in the arena and giving everything you got and having the guts to do that, whether you get bloodied or not, and putting yourself out there. And that's what we did. Unfortunately, we didn't get selected, although I believe we qualified based on the criteria. And now we just got to regroup and get after it next year. I mean,
yeah,
one of the things I'm really proud of.
Right. Yeah, no, it's certainly here to be proud of. But when you think about this anomaly type game, and it take nothing away from the Lancers who won the ball game, right? But some shots that your guys make 9 out of 10 times just didn't go. Lots of random bar outs and stuff like that. And so just a tough day for kind of a rough shooting performance, as you alluded to. The other interesting thing you mentioned was the potential of an at-large. You certainly pressure tested the criteria for what it is to get an at-large. I think it was interesting to kind of see the conversation unfold around that. One of the unique things was schedule that came up. And as the formula is laid out, you navigated it to a pretty strong spot. It wasn't enough in the eyes of the selection committee to earn an at-large selection, but an important piece of that is who wasn't on your schedule. And this is where you talked about the things that water polo doesn't have, right? The hype or the halftime festivities or the tailgate. Something else that was interesting that kind of just flew under the radar last fall that kind of blew my mind. If this was any other sport and a coach of a major college team like publicly stated, these other teams just will not schedule me. They will not play us. That would have dominated a news cycle for 7 days. You said it kind of came and went. Nothing.
Yep.
So
Nothing.
It's worth revisiting. And I'm sure there's some of those programs will feel like, well, hey, here's why this didn't work out for us. But from your perspective, you couldn't get any of the quote unquote big teams to go on your schedule. Why was that so challenging? And do you see that changing in the future?
Yeah, so great question. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't schedule us. Their rationale that they explained to me at the time was that, if we weren't going to play in the MPSF invite, they wouldn't schedule us. We didn't believe that the MPSF invite was a good situation for our program. The reality is we study all of these schedules really like deeply, and we make models and we plan, right? And we've looked at how the MPSF invite and before that NorCal's, SoCal's, the history of these events. We've gone back decades on tracking these things. And this tournament in particular is an at-large bid killer for most teams. So we didn't really feel like this put us in a good position due to like route, due to depth, that the way the tournament is and seeding and how many games you play and how many days. There's a lot of variables that go into this that make it difficult for programs like ours to make it through that tournament where you're not at a disadvantage. Not looking for an advantage. I just want a level playing field, right? And so if we play one-on-one in a single game or on a weekend where we have a similar situation, then that's much different. And if you look at our history, we've been extremely successful in those types of games. But at the MPSF invites, they're much harder. So we didn't want to play them. And so then they said, hey, if you don't play on the MPSF invite, we're not gonna put you on the books. And so they didn't do that. And I knew that we could build a schedule because we've done the models to have a number one or number two RPI at the end of the year. And we did exactly what we thought. Even with the 2 losses, we were still there. If it went a little bit better than we thought, hopefully we were going to, win a couple games. We could have been the number 1 RPI just like we had predicted. So, we were prepared either way, but it was kind of a shocking thing because it's just never been done in the history of water polo. Right. And in any major sport, that definitely would have been a pretty huge news cycle. So this year it's different. We do have all of them on the schedule. So we're excited. We get a chance to have a couple home games against Cal and USC on Friday nights in the season, which will be coming out. And then we got Stanford and UCLA on the road, which we're also excited about. We won't be attending the invite this year, but we will have all 4 of them on the schedule, and we look forward to playing them, and we're glad we got the opportunity, and we appreciate that.
What do you think changed there, given that you didn't back down on going to the MPSF invite? Was there just this collective swell of you guys are ducking UOP? I'll say it, maybe you can't. I don't know if that's a feeling that came up.
I don't really know. I have theories, but theories are theories. I don't have any hard evidence in one way or the other. I think what they do is they try to do the best things they think for their programs. We're trying to do the same thing. I don't hold any grudges. I don't take anything personally. They put themselves in the position that what they felt like was going to be best for their season last year and for this season. I'm just trying to do the same. I respect what they're trying to do. Hopefully everyone just respects what we're trying to do as well. We're just trying to be smart. My goal as a coach is just put my team in position to win and put my team in position to have the best chance in the postseason without trying to get any, unfair advantages, just playing by the rules.
And I'm saying that in jest a little bit because, again, this is always sometimes a tough pill for water polo fans to swallow. Things that exist in other college sports eventually come for water polo, and you're seeing it now across the board with scheduling. We'll talk about transfer portal in a minute, but the same thing's happening. We're in the middle of March Madness in basketball. There are teams that felt they should have been in the field. They can't get certain teams on their schedule. The way the system is set up, it does not make any sense for, we're talking about Stanford, Cal, UCLA, or USC, to schedule you in a regular season game if they don't have to. There are only diminishing returns, right? Which you've kind of outlined. Right. And while it'd be nice for everyone to get together, you get it from that standpoint of they have to try and make the NCAAs, and there's far more risk than there is reward, even though as a fan, it'd be a fun game to see.
Yeah, I think that's completely accurate. You see it in a lot of other sports of how the people are scheduling. I don't think that's necessarily. I think that last year we weren't a high risk game for them, and from a mathematical standpoint and an RPI standpoint, I think we were actually a fantastic game for them. And if they beat us, it would have been very helpful to each school that was willing to play us. It would have moved them up significantly because of where our rankings were and our record and a variety of things. So I think that if they felt like they can compete with us, I think we were going to be like a high quality game for them, and it would have been a big advantage to them to actually play us. And that's not my opinion. That's just kind of the math talking.
The data,
but the reality is, hey, look, they got to make their own analysis. They got to figure out what they think is going to happen. And, that's where it comes down to the committee. I'd like to really see the committee and water polo selection try to be a little bit more cut and dry than and transparent in the way it is. There was some published criteria for how it went. We won that published criteria 4-0, but we didn't get in because that published criteria was allowed to be evaluated. And when you evaluate things and you don't follow what's written, which seems to be pretty clear because all 4 of the criteria that were there, from win-loss record to RPI to strength of schedule to last 10 games, those are all just facts and numerical calculations put out by the NCAA, given to the committee members. There's not really any gray area. They're just hard numbers in a spreadsheet. And we won all the hard numbers. So then you have to say, why would we go away from that? And is that good for the sport? And one of the things I would just argue for the betterment of the sport is when more teams have access to the tournament, you're going to have a more successful sport, right? And so if we can win the selection criteria without having to play those teams, okay, even if they choose not to play us, how is that not a good thing for the sport? That means a team like Fordham can win it. That means a team like Pepperdine can win it, or Long Beach, or Princeton. All these teams out there can win that criteria. We proved we can win it, so could they. And so that makes it the access to the at-large more realistic. If we do it another way and we just can't get that access after having a great season, then we really have kind of a fairly limited opportunities as a sport, and it makes it hard for other programs to want to add. We're in the WCC, right? And we just started this conference, and it's a fantastic conference. They're such a professional, amazing group, and if you come out to our WCC championships, it's just amazing the way they put it on. There's schools in the WCC that are very interested in potentially adding men's water polo, right? Do they want to do it if there's not as much access? Mm-hmm. What's best for the sport? And these are things that we have to consider. How do we want to view these things? And I'm not here as a sour grapes. I'm here for advocate for the sport, whether it's our program or not. I'm super stoked Cal Baptist and Fordham went out and did some great things, and obviously Princeton and a whole bunch of schools. So I love it. I love how our tournament's expanded from 4 to 8. Really good stuff. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, from a fan standpoint too, and again, not to come back to the basketball, the men's and women's tourney, but when you have that parity and you have teams get in that people maybe didn't expect and they make a run, that only just builds the energy. Everyone can remember those teams that made that epic run in any of these tourneys. So right there with you, totally agree. I think better and more available access to the tourney for more teams is only going to create a healthier ecosystem for all of college water polo. We talked a bit about the transfer portal, just coming back to that. And this is something that, again, has become huge in quote unquote larger sports, but becoming a key piece of water polo now. A lot of online chatter. One of your best players, Mihailo Vukozic, Casino Award finalist, into the portal. I know you can't speak to any destinations, but how has that changed the way you approach building a team, if it has at all, with the premise that a player could enter the portal after each year?
Yeah, I mean, the portal's a factor. Mihailo, we love him. We knew that he was going to get in the portal after he graduated. He spent 4 years here. He was unbelievably dedicated, huge part of our program. He's given us everything, so we're super appreciative of him, and he's been unbelievable to our program. But an opportunity to go get a master's at another place where we don't offer it is great for him, and we support that 100%. But the portal is a whole new world. We live in the land of free agency. Every year, we view it as every single player is a free agent. And our job is to make sure that they have an amazing experience and they believe in what we're doing. And if we can do that, we believe we're going to keep people from getting in the portal and being able to commit to the 4 years they say they're going to be here and be able to get that done. And if you look at kind of Pacific's history and you follow our roster, we rarely have people jump in the portal. It's something that we pride ourselves on. It's something that we got to keep doing. But it's going to become more and more difficult because of NIL, because of the house settlement, because of the money that's involved in water polo and the offers that people are making. Obviously, I can't speak to all of the offers that I'm aware of out there in the world, but things are definitely changing. And there's the opportunity where, if programs aren't doing a great job with the athletes, and we don't figure out how to do this right, some teams are going to become farm systems for other programs, and that's a tough scenario to be in. So we're really focused on being the greatest destination for college water polo, and what we mean by that in the Water Polo U concept is, look at the environment we put on, look at the way we treat our athletes and how we take care of them. Look at the stage, look at our president comes to all our home games. He flies on the road to go watch us play, how much the university cares and supports for our players. That's really big, and so we try to show everybody how much we're willing to, work for them, how much we're going to support them, the opportunities we're going to provide them. And then we hope in return that we're going to have that loyalty and trust that will keep them here for their career. But again, it's a business. It's a business. We understand, but we hope that we're able to do a good job with the portal.
You certainly have always wanted your teams to buy in and feel like that they're part of this year over year. So I don't doubt that you had conversations with everyone at the end of each season. But at what point in the last couple of years did you kind of start to realize this is also a little bit about, you hear this term, re-recruiting your own team? When did that kind of set in earnest for you and your staff that, hey, because of the way the landscape is shifting, we have to make sure we're actually confirming everyone's back year over year?
Yeah, I'd say it's been that way for a little while. I'd say probably like 2021. It's been a mission. It's been a conscious thing inside our program. Like, we literally say our job is to be the best place for free agency, right? We view everybody as a free agent every single year, and our job is I don't know necessarily about, like, for me it's like re-recruiting them so much as it is doing a great job for them every single day, so that they don't need to get recruited anywhere else. And so it's really about just kind of a daily effort and showing them how hard we're willing to work for them and how dedicated we are to their dreams and their goals. Everyone that comes here has got big dreams. We don't want anyone that doesn't have big dreams. So when they come here, it's like, how do we help you get to your dream? So there's this silly kind of thing. It's like, hey, what is a coach? Well, there's like this Cinderella stagecoach, right? Which is this kind of joke, but honestly, that's what a coach is. Its job is to transport you to some place of your dreams, right? And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to transport all of our athletes to whatever their dream is. And if we do that well, then we believe they're going to stay. And so that's like, every day we got to wake up and do that.
I did not see the Cinderella analogy coming. I hope at the Pacific Cup there is like a large pumpkin thing with wheels on the side that is there available to turn into a carriage and take everyone to their destination. Last thing for you, James, just end on kind of a fun one. We're talking about game promotion. I would love water polo to move to what I would call like a NBA or basketball style introduction, kind of your starting 7 in this case, to music. We tried it a couple of years ago. It's been more than a couple of years ago now with the national team. I think it was a little odd for the players because it was the only time they ever did it, but we kind of established, okay, who are the starters? Let's play some fun music. Everyone kind of high fives each other, almost like through a tunnel. Would that work in water polo? What other ways could we spice up the intros? Because it's a very solemn affair when you introduce the team of water polo. Everyone's lined up. It's just real serious. And not that it doesn't bring big energy for big games, but I do wonder if there's a way to kind of create a little more energy around that.
Yeah, so I think there's a variety of things that we can do that create the energy. One thing we already do here is, we play the Star Wars Darth Vader theme music when we introduce the opponent, always kind of fun, right? And then we have our different music. Then we utilize our scoreboard, and a lot of schools are getting really nice scoreboards. Just being able to have the photos and information from other teams, to be able to respect them and show them up there as well, I think creates something. Being able to create some awesome music behind it. The thing about that I would love to see is obviously the lights and the kind of the special effects that you have from like an NBA game, but that's difficult with the outdoor pools, with being able to turn lights on and off. That's where the indoor pools have kind of that advantage. But there's also, a variety of other things that we can do, and we're always trying to innovate in that area. But I also think there's things we can do to make it more exciting too. Like, I'm a huge proponent, just tossing it out there, let's extend halftime to like 20 minutes. So, if we can't go buy any merchandise, we can't get up and go get any concessions at halftime. We can't even use the restroom without missing the game. How do we make this into an event? If we have a 20-minute halftime, coaches and athletes get to recover. You can actually probably have not as deep a team. You make more teams competitive because they can get more rest and come back for the second half. Right, so there adds parity to it. You can put an age group game and do a scrimmage in the middle of the game to get more fans out. You can do entertainment. You can get concessions. You can sell, beer. You could do T-shirts. You could do all kinds of things that make the game way more exciting and way more of an event. And I'm kind of a proponent of let's stop making the game shorter. Let's make it a little bit longer, and so that it's worth driving a farther distance to, because it's going to be this day that your family's going to love. Right. And you're like, hey, we're going to make an event out of this.
I'm just laughing at myself because I don't disagree with you. The challenge we've had sometimes when we do the games on television and have had to extend halftime from 5 to 10 minutes, you would think we are making a massive request. It requires a bit of a negotiation. So 20, yes, it's just funny. That would be such a culture shock for the athletes that are so regimented. I mean, you've been to some games where it's maybe 5 minutes at halftime. I mean, it's like maybe. The clock says 5, but if everyone's ready to go at 3.5, let's play. So you're right. That would be an interesting leveling of the playing field as well, especially for those teams that don't have the depth. We'll see also with obviously roster limitations coming into play too. So,
and even taking a little more time after a goal start. Why do we have to restart it so fast? Let people celebrate. Let people celebrate. Let the crowd get into it. Give us a little time. What we're taking away from the excitement of the event. The best thing just happened. Let's enjoy it for a moment. Let's not rush into the next thing. Let's have a good time.
This is the culture of 15 age group games on a Saturday, and you got to keep it moving, And so for the standard one-off game, right, you can kind of let it breathe a little bit more.
Yeah, when you have a great event and you got two high-quality teams playing, let's enjoy it. Let's soak it up. Let's not rush it. I don't know. That's my feeling. So, I mean, and the other thing I think that, and one thing I didn't mention before is we've actually partnered with 6-8 Sports to do the stats for the Pacific Cup. And again, that also brings things into the event that makes it exciting. Being able to follow the athletes up on the scoreboard or on social media and know how they're doing throughout the event. And they get to have that where maybe one day we're getting to fantasy water polo and things like that. All that kind of stuff just makes it more exciting. So we're looking forward to those opportunities. We're always trying to find ways to partner with different places and really bring it to the next level. And we're excited about that too this year.
Hey, before we let you go, just give us those dates and the website one more time for the Pacific Cup.
Yeah, April 12th and 13th, and PacificTigers.com. And then you just go to men's water polo and click on the More tab, and you'll see the Pacific Cup invite on there. And you'll be able to find all the information you need, from tickets to schedule and videos that we're posting, or you can go to our social media. So appreciate everybody. It should be a great event. I know it was a lot of fun last year, and we're looking forward to having a big crowd out there.
Awesome, James. Thanks for the time as always, and good luck with the event. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Greg. Take care.
Once again, big thanks to James Graham for sharing his insights on everything happening at Pacific and his excitement for the sport of water polo. More big conversations to come next week on the Counterattack. From there, we go to our Malmston Save of the Week. Sometimes a goal, sometimes a save. This is a great stop. Futures action from Rose Bowl. Check out this stop here. Lunging right in the excitement there from the Rose Bowl squad. Appreciate them sending in one of their favorite plays. And don't forget, you can send in a highlight you'd like to see on our Malmston Save or Goal of the Week. You can send us a direct message or tag us at USAWP, or, of course, reach out to the Overnight social channels as well, and we'll look to share one of your big moments right here on the show. And now let's take a look at what's coming up here in the world of water polo. As we mentioned, the ODP Girls National Championship this weekend in Salt Lake City. Best of luck to everyone making their way to SLC to compete in 3 great days of water polo. The National League Championship is at the end of April at Mount San Antonio College, scheduled to be released, but live coverage right here on Overnight, so make sure you check that out if you can't be there in person. Also expecting some big names to be competing during that weekend, so that's going to make for a really awesome event. And then as we get into May, first weekend of May, Women's Division III Collegiate National Championship, also live on overnight. And then the NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship from Indianapolis. Don't forget, Mother's Day, May 11th, we'll have the finale on ESPNU, streaming on ESPN+. That is a noon Eastern start, 9 a.m. Pacific. So a lot of great water polo is coming up. And we're coming back next week, brand new episode of The Counterattack. So make sure you join us for that. But that's all for us this week. Thanks so much for stopping by. And don't forget, when you're on The Counterattack, look weak side.